Bonaire, the Caribbean's best-kept secret for divers and nature lovers. A travel guide by PalapaVibez.com. Most people planning a Caribbean trip head straight for the famous names, the ones that show up on every list, every billboard, every travel magazine cover, and those places are beautiful, no argument there.
But there is a small Dutch island sitting 80 kilometers north of Venezuela that serious travelers have been quietly visiting for decades, telling almost nobody about it, and then coming back to year after year.
This is Bonaire. And once you understand what makes it different, you will understand exactly why. In this video, we are covering everything: the diving, the wildlife, the food, where to stay, and how to plan your trip. By the end, you will know whether Bonaire belongs on your list. Let's get into it.
Bonaire is a special municipality of the Netherlands, which means European standard infrastructure wrapped in genuine Caribbean warmth. The island is tiny, just 288 square kilometers, and home to roughly 21,000 residents.
After 2 days here, the owner of your dive shop knows your name. After 4, so does the woman who runs the snack bar by the waterfront.
English is spoken almost everywhere that tourism touches. The US dollar is the legal currency. Trade winds keep temperatures between 27 and 32 degrees Celsius year-round, and the island sits completely outside the hurricane belt. That last detail matters more than people realize. You can book Bonaire in August with the same confidence you would book it in February. The weather simply does not let you down here. The driest months run from February through September, making that window the peak of the diving season. But honest to goodness, there is no bad time to visit this island. The thing that separates Bonaire from every other Caribbean destination is sitting beneath the surface of the water surrounding it.
The Bonaire National Marine Park has protected this coastline since 1979, making it one of the oldest marine protected areas in the world. More than 60 numbered yellow stones ring the island, each one marking a shore dive site you can enter directly from the rocky beach.
No boat required, no dive operator scheduled to follow. You pull up in your rental truck, gear up, walk into the water, and within minutes, you are inside one of the healthiest reef systems in the entire Caribbean. Coral coverage here is extraordinary compared to most of the region. Elkhorn and staghorn formations that were lost elsewhere decades ago still exist in abundance around Bonaire.
Trumpetfish, seahorses, spotted eagle rays, hawksbill turtles, and schools of parrotfish are routine sightings on an average morning dive. Nothing about it feels rare until you remember that this is what Caribbean reefs used to look like everywhere. The 1,000 Steps dive site is one of the most iconic on the island. Despite the name, there are only 67 steps carved into a limestone cliff leading down to the water.
What waits below is spectacular wall diving with massive sponge formations, deep coral canyons, and regular appearances from large pelagic species. Worth every step of the descent. Klein Bonaire, the small, uninhabited islet sitting just a water taxi ride offshore, is where you go when you want the whole Caribbean postcard in one place. Powder white sand, water so clear it barely registers as a separate element from the air above it, nesting sea turtles hauling themselves onto the beach at night, and coral gardens beginning just meters from the shoreline.
Day trips here are one of the genuinely unmissable experiences on the island.
But Bonaire above the waterline is just as remarkable as what lies beneath it, and most first-time visitors are surprised by how much there is to explore on land. Washington Slagbaai National Park covers the entire northern tip of the island. 56 square kilometers of rugged reserve where iguanas sprawl across hiking trails, yellow-shouldered parrots screech from towering candelabra cacti, and secluded bays like Boca Slagbaai offer snorkeling in complete solitude. The landscape up here looks nothing like the resort facing West Coast. It is raw, dramatic, and genuinely wild. Rent an SUV rather than a standard car because the northern roads earn their reputation. The southern salt flats are one of the most visually surreal landscapes in the entire Caribbean. Commercial salt is still harvested here, creating enormous white pyramids rising from the flat terrain, and the shallow ponds surrounding them are flushed pink by thousands of Caribbean flamingos.
At golden hour, when the light turns amber and the flamingos are feeding in the rose-colored water, it looks almost too extraordinary to be real. Bring a camera and arrive before sunset. Slagbaai on the eastern coast is where the windsurfers and kiteboarders come, drawn by the consistent trade winds and the shallow turquoise lagoon that provides ideal conditions for both beginners and professionals.
The bay is also threaded with mangrove channels that you can kayak at your own pace, and flamingos wade through the shallows with an indifference to human presence that tells you exactly how undisturbed this ecosystem has remained. The donkey sanctuary is one of those unexpected stops that ends up being a genuine highlight. Over 700 wild donkeys rescued from the island's roads live here, and you can walk among them, feed them, and learn about the conservation effort keeping them safe.
Families with children in particular find this one of the most memorable hours of the whole trip.
For an island of 21,000 people, Bonaire's dining scene is genuinely impressive. At sea, perched over the water near Harbor Village, is the island's standout fine dining experience. Fresh-caught seafood elevated into elegant plates, paired with a serious wine list, and served with a view of the Caribbean horizon that makes every meal feel like an occasion. Brasboer brings Michelin-trained Dutch culinary technique to the tropics. The chef arrived from Amsterdam and built a tasting menu experience that feels completely out of place on a small Caribbean island in the best possible way. Reservations are essential and fill up fast.
For something more relaxed, It Rains Fishes serves generous Caribbean international plates on a breezy garden terrace in the island's small capital, Krellendijk. The kind of place where you end up staying 2 hours longer than planned because the conversation is good and nobody is rushing you out. And before you leave without trying the local food, seek out one of the snack trucks or waterfront stands serving keshi yangne, the island's stuffed cheese dish, alongside fresh conch ceviche and funchi, the creamy cornmeal staple that accompanies nearly every traditional Bonairean meal.
These flavors belong to this island specifically, and you will not find them done better anywhere else. Bonaire's accommodation leans toward dive-centric resorts and intimate boutique properties rather than large hotel complexes.
Most are clustered along the sheltered western coast, putting dozens of dive sites within a short drive or even a walk from your room.
Harbor Village Beach Club is the island's most polished address, with a private beach, full-service dive operation, and the only resort marina. Buddy Dive Resort pioneered the drive and dive concept that Bonaire is famous for. Tanks waiting in a rack beside your pickup truck, unlimited shore diving packages, and a social atmosphere built entirely around people who came here to spend as much time underwater as possible.
DV Flamingo Beach Resort combines old-school Caribbean character with a house reef so healthy that many guests genuinely never feel the need to drive anywhere else. Belafonte Luxury Oceanfront Hotel offers contemporary suites with full kitchens and direct ocean access, making it ideal for extended stays or families who want space to spread out. Across the board, properties here are smaller and more personal than what you find on bigger Caribbean islands. That is not a limitation. It is exactly the point.
Flamingo International Airport serves Bonaire with direct flights from Amsterdam on KLM and from Miami and Houston on United on a seasonal basis. From the U.S. East Coast, the flight runs about 3 hours and 40 minutes nonstop. From Amsterdam, it is roughly 9 hours, making Bonaire one of the most directly accessible Caribbean islands for European travelers. Once you land, a rental car is essentially mandatory. There is no public transportation system. Taxis are limited, and the dive sites, national park, and salt flats are spread across the island in ways that make having your own vehicle the difference between a good trip and a great one. Book the car before you arrive, especially during peak season from December through April when inventory goes quickly. An SUV handles the unpaved northern roads significantly better than a standard sedan. One practical requirement that catches first-time visitors off guard: every person who visits Bonaire must purchase a nature fee on arrival. Divers pay $75, non-divers pay $25.
This fee funds the Bonaire National Marine Park and is mandatory for all visitors. Keep your tag visible on your dive gear because marine park rangers do check.
Reef-safe sunscreen is strongly encouraged and increasingly required by dive operators. The island sits at 12 degrees north latitude with intense UV year-round. A long-sleeve rash guard is genuinely your best friend, both in and out of the water.
Travel insurance with medical evacuation coverage is highly recommended. The local hospital handles routine care, but serious cases are transferred to Curacao or Colombia. It is a small inconvenience to plan for and a significant one to discover unprepared.
Bonaire is what the Caribbean was before mass tourism arrived and changed everything. The reef is healthy, the flamingos outnumber the residents. There are no stoplights, no cruise ship crowds, and no high-rise hotels blocking the horizon.
Just an island that decided a long time ago that protecting what makes it special was worth more than chasing the kind of growth that destroys the very thing people came to find.
Whether you come to dive, to windsurf, to photograph flamingos at golden hour, or simply to experience a corner of the Caribbean that still operates on nature's terms rather than tourism's, Bonaire will give you something most destinations stopped offering a long time ago.
When you are ready to plan your trip, search flights and hotels at PalapaVibez.com. The link is in the description. We will help you find the best deal and get you there. If this video helped you, like, subscribe, and follow for more travel guides every week. And drop a comment below. Are you a diver, a snorkeler, or just someone who loves finding places the crowds haven't found yet? We would love to know what kind of traveler you are and where you are dreaming of going next.